Hi there, welcome back to the YouTube channel. I'm back again, and this rest of this week is going to be follower requested decks, and we're kicking off today with one I missed out entirely for Murders of Karloff Manor, Delney. Streetwise Lookout, 2 in white for a 2/2 legendary creature, human scout. Creatures you control with power 2 or less can't be blocked by creatures with power 3 or greater. Okay. And if an ability of a creature you control with power 2 or less trigger, that triggers an additional time. Okay then, we can do this. This is quite fun. Yeah, Delney was, when it first came out, was really quite pricey on MTGO, and I think it was in real life. I think the price on MTGO has come down significantly, and I think it's come down in real life now as well, because there seems to be quite a large supply of Delney kicking around. Del, let's go with Del. I mean, realise that this is meant to be, I think it's meant to be a female character, but it just reminds me of Del Boy from Only Fools and Horses, if you've ever seen that comedy show if you're in the UK, or I know there's some fans across the pond and around the world, so you know who I'm talking about if I say Del. Yeah, interesting one. Not quite sure why, well, I know why I missed out because I never picked one up until recently, but yeah, I got asked to cover this, so here we go. Here's my take for Delney as a commander. So, starting at the beginning with a whole load of 1-drops. I just wanted one other 2/1 creature, and Elite Vanguard's pretty good. 1 mana for 2/1. Yep, I'll cope with that. The Guide of Souls is here, so this will trigger when it comes, life gain, energy. Eventually chuck some +1/+1 counters around, get things flying in the air to attack. Healer's Hawk, just have another 1/1, but has flying and lifelinks, that helps a little bit. Ocelot Pride is also in from Modern Horizons 3. Beginning of your end step, if you gain life this turn, you get a white cat token. So if I've got this right, an ability of a creature you control with a power 2 or less triggers, that ability triggers an additional time. I think that class is an ability. I hope it does anyway, otherwise I'm a fool. So we might get a couple of cats, we gain some life, and then if we've got the blessing, we get to create a token copy of one. So that sounds good. Soul's Warden, Soul's Attendant are definitely triggers. I know that, gain the life. Deep Gnome Terramancer, whenever one or more lands enter a battlefield under an opponent's control, you may get a plains and put it on the battlefield only once each turn, so even the additional trigger isn't going to help, but yeah, get one plane out. Goldbeard's just here for a little bit of ramping, it's a 1/1. Again, can't be blocked by anything with power 3 or greater. Knight of the White Orchid comes in, double up on the plains, so I'll live with that. Lone Missionary doubles up on our life gain. Luminarch Aspirant, I think this is triggered. I'm going to be honest, I'm not great with triggered abilities, but from what I've read, this does work. Take a couple of +1/+1 counters around. You can chuck them all on Delney. That's what I would probably do to keep him alive a little bit easier. Serene Sleuth gives us a investigation. When it enters in the beginning of combat on your turn, investigate for each goaded creature you control. Then each creature you control is no longer goaded. Okay, but yeah, not really goading much, but it's still good fun. It's 2/2, gives us a clue. Investigation, that's fine. Spirited Companion draws a card. Suture Police does the whole let's gain a life and then when creatures die lose a life for other people. Wall of Essence is just here as a nice big blocker. When it's dealt damage we gain that much life, so thank you very much. Wall Priest of Thrune blows up a lot of enchantments. Now with the onset of Duskspawn being more played, I'm seeing more rooms, I'm seeing more enchantments. I think War Priest should start seeing a lot more play in white decks, just as an extra way to get rid of those enchantments. Bygone Bishop, whenever a creature spell we've converted 3 mana cost or less, whenever you cast you get an investigation trigger token, so maybe double triggers for this for Delney. Drumbellow just lets you untap everything, so you still got your blockers after you're attacked. Enduring Innocence, I like this one from Duskspawn. Whenever one or more creatures with power 2 or less enter, draw a card. If it dies, it comes back as an enchantment, and since everything we've got is power 2 or less in the deck, apart from a couple that are coming up, I'm going to get card draw every time we play one. Well, once a turn anyway, so that's cool. Filigree Familiar, gain 2 life, draw a card when it snuffs it. Inspired Inventor lets us just chuck around +1/+1 counters or get some nice servo tokens. We might need the energy, we might not need the energy, but the servo tokens are probably the best way to look at it. Inspiring Overseer, card draw and a life. Lauren of the Third Path, we all know what this does. slightly more legendary version of the priest because it also hits artifacts, and then we make a friend and start helping each other draw cards. Mentor of the Meek, because everything has got power 2 or less, we can pay the 1 to draw a card. Monastery Mentor, when we cast non-creature spells we get some monk tokens with prowess, which can be useful. Siege Veteran is another one that chucks around +1/+1 counters, so hopefully we'll get there. Toby, Beastie Befriender, comes in from Dustsworn as well. Now if I've got this right, this enters play and we get 2 of the beast tokens, which at 4/4s, yes they can be blocked, I'm not arguing that, but they're quite big and chunky. Wojek Investigator, at the beginning of your upkeep, you investigate once for each opponent who has more cards in hand than you. Yep, okay. Ellen Harbury's Busybody also makes an appearance to give us some more of those card filtering when we get all those tokens coming into play. The Harness Snubhorn comes in, deals combat damage to a player, return target artifact or enchantment card from your graveyard to the battlefield, which can be helpful. Core Cartographer doubles up on the land triggers. Mangara gives us card draw depending on what people do. The Merchant of Truth, whenever a non-token creature you control dies, investigate, and then gives all our clues exalted. So we can attack, if I've got this right, attack with something with power 2, can't be blocked, exalted triggers then go up, it gets very big very quickly and just gets through for a lot of damage, which I think is very good. Rock's Faith Mender doubles up on our life gain. Solemn Sim does the whole let's find a land and draw a card when it dies. Angel of Invention, you'll make this as a 2/1 with 2 servos and just pump all your other creatures up eventually. And then we've got one of the creatures that doesn't have power 2 or less. Elesh Norn, Mother of the Machines, is here to get those extra triggers on the go. And it stops all your opponent's triggers. Okay. Helpful. Last 2 cards, Karmic Guide to return something from our graveyard and bring it back if we need to, and then Evangel of Heliod, when it comes into play, we get a whole load of 1/1 soldier creature tokens equal to our devotion to white, which considering we're in a mono white deck should be fairly high, and if not, you're paying 6 mana for 3 creatures, which is a little bit sad. Spells, target removal condemn. I'm trying out Final Showdown because I want to see if it's doable or not. It is, give one of our creatures indestructible and blow everything else up is something that could be useful, but I'm not convinced by this yet, but people tell me it's good, so I'm trying it out in this deck. Path to Exile for the removal. Dawn's Truce also comes in to make all our stuff indestructible and give us hexproof, which has its upside. Yes, we have to gift a card to do all that, but I'm quite happy to do that if I need to. Disenchant for a little bit more artifact and enchantment removal, because like I say, I've been playing against a lot of decks involving rooms recently. Grand Crescendo gives all our creatures indestructible, which is very nice for Final Showdown if we can do that. 2 mana, it gets 8 mana, it's expensive, I'm aware of that, but having all our stuff indestructible and then blowing everyone else's up gives us a free ball to attack with. Same with Unbreakable Formation, a little bit more expensive to do it, but if we do it in our main phase and put the extra +1/+1 counts on given vigilance, may invalidate Delney, but it may also be the win we need if we're then going to do the Wrath of God afterwards, or a Chroma's Will help us out immensely. Just make sure we cast when we have Delney on board, and we're probably going to win there and then. Day of Judgment, Wrath of God for a little bit more removal. On the Job gives an instant speed pump to all our small creatures, which could be really helpful. Sorry, there's an interruption there, so sorry if there's a bit disjointed, I'll just go back to On the Job. Attack for all your creatures, they can't be blocked. When you get to the end of blocking step, cast this, pump all your creatures up, get an investigation on the go. Watch your opponent go from high life totals to a low life total. Very nice. Starfall Invocation is another one where we get to gift a card, destroy all creatures. If the gift was promised, return a creature card, put into your graveyard this way onto the battlefield under your control. It's a nice way of getting around the additional cost of Delney once they've been killed off a few times. That works. And then a backup win condition in the face of Approach of the Second Sun. We all know what this does. People hate it, but it does have its advantages. Not too many artifacts. We've got Mox Tantalite just to give us a coloured bit of ramp. Elixir of Immortality, shuffling back in. Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, Marble Diamond, Pearl Diamond, and Throne of Eldraine, which I love in a monocoloured deck. I really do. Tap this, add 4 mana, so this basically costs you the same as a Soul Ring. Think of it that way. Yeah. Didn't think people have thought of it that way, but always a good fun. 2 cards I have missed out. Ethervar, because I want to try and cheat some of my creatures in when I can, and this is a nice way of doing it. And Ethervar and Mono White Weenie deck is always something that's been a bit traditional, so we're going for it today. And then Portal to Phyrexia, just to get rid of things that are annoying us, and then start nicking things from people's graveyards. We should be able to cast this quite happily in this deck. Not many enchantments, just a few. Authority of Consuls, give us some life and stop all our opponents' hasty creatures beating us up. Sputtering Tithe, because it's a mono white deck and why would you not want the treasure tokens. And then Angelic Chorus, just to give us a little bit more life gain when our creatures come into play. It's not the greatest card, you could probably replace this with something else if you wanted to, but I just wanted some way of gaining some extra life to keep us in the game, because you know, although we do have some reasonably tough creatures, most of our things are, well, you know, 1, 2, 2, 2, 1, 1, you know, they're not great. So, a little bit tricky, but I wanted it in because I just, well, A, I quite like the artwork on here, to be fair, and B, it's just static life gain. Beyond that, 34 lands, because we are playing a mono white deck and most of our stuff is small. So we've got Castle Ardenvale, we can pump out some human creature tokens if we need to. We've got the Cave of the Frost Dragon, so we can make a flyer if we need to in the air. Ijano Castle to prevent the damage to some of our legendary permanents. Emeria, because we will get there eventually and get the 7 planes out and start returning things from our graveyard to the battlefield. Fabled Passage helps with that. Forbidden Watchtower gives us another creature that just can't be stopped. And a 1/5 is quite tasty and a good blocker, to be fair. Hidden Courtyard lets us do the whole discover thing if we need to. Mistfilled Plains lets us put cards on from our target card in your graveyard on the bottom of our library. Play this ability only if you control 2 or more white permanents. Shouldn't be hard. Reliquary Tower, just to make sure we've got no maximum hand size. 24 planes, and because we are mono, and I always say in any mono deck in Commander you play Nykthos. Now I've put no way into search it. I mean, you could chuck this out for the artifact that gets you go and find any land, but I'll take my chances and hope I hit Nykthos at some stage during the game. And that is it. That's my take on Delney, the Streetwise Lookout. I'll share there's cards I've missed out, but I want to play it this way because it's fun. If there's cards I've missed out, let me know down below. As I said in yesterday's video, I'm a little bit bored with Duskmourn. Check the channel. If there's anything I've missed you want me to cover, let me know in the comments down below. But carrying on for this week and possibly next week, looking at the cards that people have asked me to cover, who are, you know, regulars on the stream or followers or whatever, you know, comment leavers, that's fine. So they'll be coming up for the rest of this week and possibly most of next week. Hopefully Foundations will be out soon, but as soon as we know the legends in Foundations, I will start covering them, because as my understanding of Foundations is correct, it's a complete reprint set. So all the cards that we have out will be the ones we'll be using, so that'll be good. And then we'll take it from there with some of the Foundations legends once they're revealed. But for now, thank you for watching this one. Tomorrow one, back a little bit further in time, quite a long way back to one of the first cards I played back in the day of Standard when I was just married. So yeah, go back to like 2002, 2003 sort of time, so we'll see. But for now everybody, take care and I'll see you very soon. Bye.